But then I actually watched the footage of the campaign rally, and I stopped laughing at that point. I was just sad. Yeah.
We're just sad all the time now, aren't we?
Yeah, pretty much. I just, we were talking just before we hit record. Hey, everybody, geeky gossip, nerdy news, big damn cast. Hi, how you doing? I'm Chris. Johnson.
I'm Matt. That's all you're getting.
And we were chin-wagging about the fact that, pop culture-wise, not very much has happened this week, aside from, a few date shifts and things like that.
Tenet's been indefinitely delayed.
That's the biggest pop culture news before we record this, yeah.
Everybody was so eager to see Tenet.
If you want to see Tenet early, guys, as far as anyone who's just interested by the concept, just watch the last 15 minutes of Doctor Strange a few times. There you go. Oh, look, it's an action scene while time's moving differently. Oh my god, how unique. It's it was never done before, except in the last 15 minutes of Doctor Strange. So just watch that for a little bit. But aside from that, the most significant pop culture news has been the stuff with Kanye West. And I'm like,
oh no.
That just makes me so sad. I know normally we cover, movies and games, TV, but, this is that thing where one medium is invading another. It is a musician invading politics. But, after he did his campaign rally, because he's eligible to be voted for in, 2 states currently. He's missed the deadline in loads of other places. But this could still swing things to take votes away from other candidates.
The fuck's going to vote for Kanye West, though?
Well, that's the thing.
Mind you, we said that about Donald Trump, didn't we?
True. People turned up to his rally. It was 100 people. They had no PA systems. They weren't prepared. And he's clearly sort of feels exploited, but is also being further exploited by being allowed to do this. The guy has bipolar. He's bipolar, and he's
he's not well.
He's been talking about shirking on his medication. He's been very confrontational to his family and his wife online in the last week or two. Namely to the momager of the whole Kardashian Jenner monopoly, Kris Jenner.
Yeah.
His mother-in-law. And then as of today of recording this, he called his wife a white supremacist and said he was planning to divorce her on Twitter. Yeah, but the thing is, he has a couple breakdowns at this rally. A white girl in the crowd shouts him out. He gets her on stage and talks about how brave she is, and gives her a hug. And then a black woman in the crowd shouts him out to correct him, the same way the white woman did. And he tries to get the crowd to berate her. And it's what is going on? This is really weird. And all this stuff. But it's one of those where it's you watch it and you go, right, there are 2 people I'm really mad at here. One, whoever should have stopped him. His family, his managers.
There is anyone to stop him.
I mean, that might be why it's such an underprepared, campaign thing, or, no PA or anything, because he's just made it happen. But, the people in his life who should be making sure that he is, getting the help he needs, is being told when to step down. What you're doing is wrong and harmful. You need to stop. He needs some intervention. But also, he's a grown-ass man who's been dealing with his conditions and his diagnoses for, a couple decades now. So he also needs to have responsibility for what he's doing. Because if he knows he behaves a certain way when he's not medicating, and he's happy to put himself out there for a political rally, he needs to hold himself responsible for that, surely.
Yeah, it's difficult, though, once you find yourself out of control, to then get back into control of yourself without outside help. So I think that's probably what's happening. I mean, I'm not an expert by any means.
No, true. But it's you have more of an insight than myself, for example. Sort of more about meds for keeping you feeling chill and
brain pills,
keeping juggling yourself. Yeah,
proper brain pills, not the ones that
mind smarties.
Paul Joseph Watson tries to sell you. Not the ones you see on InfoWars.
Oh God, I know. But you know what I mean? It's just one of those you look at it and you go, I can't laugh at this because that'd be wrong. But I also can't take my eyes away from it because this might actually affect Western politics this year.
The guy needs he needs help. He needs psychiatric help.
Yeah.
And similar to the actual current president of the United States.
Don't worry. This week he finally decided it's patriotic to wear a mask.
Oh, God.
3 months too late, you big orange twat.
Well, we've got one on our own side of the pond doing the same fucking thing, to be fair.
Oh, trying to sell off the NHS and trying to delay the release of information from a Russian dossier and just like, oh my God.
It's exhausting. It's exhausting.
Can life get back to normal, A, primarily so like people stop dying, and B, so we can like go see some movies and talk about them, please? That'd be nice.
I don't know. I've seen the release calendar. I'm not too enthused.
But Matt, Tenet is...
no, Tenet. The cornerstone of this year's cinema releases, the thing I was really looking forward to.
Is Tenet...
Oh, wait. No, I wasn't looking forward to it. I didn't know it existed until 6 months ago. I know more about it since it's been delayed than I did before it was released.
Isn't it? It's a studio-created hype machine. Like, I give no shits about Tenet, but I'm being told I should. And, you know, you also have people going like, well, I love Chris Nolan films and this is Chris Nolan's new film. It's like, cool, I get that. Like, people act like that around, like, Tarantino releases and Spielberg releases.
Do you love Chris Nolan's films, though?
Well, that's the thing, innit? Like, that's the thing.
They are a bit cold.
There's some excellent movies in there. I can't deny that. I love The Dark Knight. I have a huge soft spot for The Prestige. Memento is pretty cool. I'm trying to think of later ones that I might be into. Interstellar's pretty beautiful, but after I'd seen it once, I was like, I'm good.
Inception?
I'm good. Yeah. I went to see that with my mate Tash. It was one of the few times she visited me while I lived in London. We went to see Inception. About 10 years ago, actually, this week. Wasn't it Inception 10 years ago this week?
It might have been. Yeah, it was 2010.
Yeah, and we went to see it, and it was just like, oh my God, it's really cool. We've never really hung out in London. This is awesome. Yeah, let's go see a film. Oh my God, let's go to Leicester Square and see a film. Oh, this is great. And we came out, we're like, yeah, it was all right. Anyway, should we go somewhere to eat? It was just like, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like the world at that point had convinced me it was like a biblical experience. And I was just like, yeah, it was pretty cool. Right.
I think I saw it a couple of times at the cinema, actually.
Oh, I see. I see. I bet you've been counting down the days to Tenet with tally marks on your thighs.
And now I'm running out of space because it keeps getting delayed. And my thighs are big.
You're like a Sharpie Zaz.
Yeah.
You're just scrolling away, which is more of a Zaz than the version that Nolan gave us in Batman Begins.
Oh, please.
Victor Zaz. Oh my God, really? Oh, he's just a guy with one tally tattoo on the back of his neck. Okay, cool. That's pretty unrealistic.
We've got a good one in Birds of Prey.
Yeah, which on my stream this week, people were saying like it was a waste of him. It was a waste of Zaz that, and I was like,
it was.
My response was,
it?
Let's face it, Zaz is never going to be the main villain of any comic book movie.
Yeah,
ever.
You're not going to get a movie where Zaz is the primary antagonist, unless you're doing like super stripped back. Oh, it's Batman, but 7. Like,
yeah, detective.
And let's face it, David Fincher...
But with tally marks instead of his thumbs ripped off.
David Fincher is never going to direct a Batman movie, let's be honest.
True. But, like, he was Zaz. He just was specifically early 90s Zaz.
Yeah.
Like, the slightly more flamboyant, you know, running around shirtless with his weird little domino mask eyeliner kind of thing, whatever that was meant to be, and his buzz cut, platinum blonde buzz cut. Like, it was that Zaz. It wasn't the Zaz of the last, 20 years, who, let's face it, hasn't been in much. He's just... He got really cool highlighting in the Arkham series of video games, and then Gotham did a version that was similar to that, and that's why people are like, oh, he's nothing like Zaz. It's like, no, he's just not like the two Zazes you're aware of. Like,
honestly, I can't
think
comics. Of anything that Zaz played a major role in after Nightfall.
Yeah.
Like,
I know he rocked up in the New 52 at some point, because I remember
everything rocked up in the New 52 at some point, and it was just like...
Oh, the New 52 that brought back my favourite Batman villain from the dead, Arnold Wesker's ventriloquist. But the first you see of him is in The Dark Knight, I think, when everyone's roided out on Venom in that first storyline. And Nightwing and Robin are clearing it up a bit, and Nightwing is fighting a giant hulking Wesker, who is, and they draw it in a way where it's not explicitly graphic. Was it Tony Daniel?
Dark Knight, I think, was David Finch. It was Tony Daniel. Yeah, because there was one that was before the New 52 called Batman: The Dark Knight that was David Finch.
Yeah,
and then they did Batman: The Dark Knight as one of the Batman family titles for New 52, and it wasn't David Finch.
Oh yeah, because was it Batman Dark Knight? Because it was that stylized.
No, it was The Dark Knight.
It was The Dark Knight. But they used the same title treatment. That was it, wasn't it? It was the same logo design. They went, we'll just put that on the New 52
Despite
one.
The David Finch one even getting for 5 issues before the New 52 came in.
God, it was like Batman Incorporated. Batman Incorporated carried on a little bit after the New 52 started.
Yeah.
And it was one of the only books that didn't have the New 52 emblazoned on the cover for a bit, and then they did bring it into the New 52, 2 or 3 issues in. They were like, fuck it, number 1, New 52.
I think what they did was...
But it was still canon, I think, with the original one.
If memory recalls, they didn't do it immediately.
Yeah.
But then when they did bring it back, it was like a New 52 but a mini-series.
Yes.
So I think it still had the New 52 branding, but it wasn't one of the 52 titles. They did that with a couple of because I think they did a Penguin mini-series that was the same or something like that.
They did 2 arcs under the New 52 design. Demon Star is the first one.
But they did the Leviathan Strikes double-sized one-shot before that to bridge the gap, didn't they? I think.
Yes, which is reprinted in the first New 52 hardback. Yeah. There we go.
Because I was like, Stephanie Brown not being...
I'm sure I have it behind me on my shelf. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, Stephanie Brown. Oh, because they have to retcon all that shite.
Yeah, they had to retcon her back into spoiler.
So Dark Knight brings Wesker back briefly, and just as one of the villains breaking out who's all venomed up, and they draw it really sort of tastefully, so there's no violence, even though the implication is horrible. He's fighting Nightwing, and he has a cop on his arm.
Oh, yeah.
Like a ventriloquist doll. And it's oh, that's messed up. And
I thought he was used...
That's kind of it, then. We don't see him again until Tom King.
I thought he was used quite well in the Tom King arc that he pops up in.
I Am Bane.
I quite liked that. Yeah, I quite liked that.
But again, doesn't give me what I want, which is
Scarface,
ventriloquist, and Scarface. I mean, Scarface makes an appearance in that story.
Yeah,
just not as a dummy, just as a hand punching Psycho Pirate out, which is a great moment. I love it. How does Batman apprehend a villain who can control your sort of emotions on an extreme level when you get close to him, just by telling you how scared you are and how frightened you are? You send him somebody who's already got a voice in his head telling him what to do, who won't stand for someone else bossing him around. It's what a great idea.
Yeah, I thought that was a really neat use of him.
That was the last thing in the King run where I went, that's cool. Then after that I was like, I'm not vibing this. And then I got to the War Jokes and Riddles and I went, one day I'll pick this all up on reduction, but I don't want to read any more right now.
War of Jokes and Riddles is too fucking long.
It's just boring.
Too fucking long.
It's just it's so boring because it's meant to be set early in Batman's career. It's meant to be
post-Zero, yeah.
Yeah, it's his second encounter with Riddler.
Yeah.
And yet when him and the Joker go to war, they recruit every villain under the sun. You're like, has Batman dealt with all of these people already? What? Ivy's here? Bane's here? Really?
It's odd.
I also hate it when people go, oh, in this one, the Joker's sad. It's why?
The Joker's not joking.
Just because Dark Knight Returns did a cool thing with that, of him being just sort of born catatonic, because when Batman went away, he basically handed himself in and was just quiet and not reacting to anything, and then he gets a whiff halfway through that book of Batman being back, and he just starts smiling at the TV in the rec room, and you're like, oh, that's chilling. That is a chilling use of the Joker not smiling. Darling.
So good.
And then All-Star Batman and Robin are like, we're going to do something with that, and then they never get anywhere with it.
Remember when they did that animated adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns and it wasn't very good?
I quite like it. I don't know.
It took like the most cinematic and expressive moments of the comic and giving them motion made them feel flatter and less vital.
Its biggest flaw is dropping the inner monologue, removing the Batman's narration, because that is such an important part of the structure and the tone of that story. Like the way it flows, the pacing, but also just that repeated thing of like, especially in the first half, where it's like Batman is trying to break out of Bruce Wayne. Like Bruce Wayne is one thing, and it's gnawing away at him in ways he doesn't even realize. Like the narration does such a great job. This is a book, by the way, boys and girls. This is a book from back when Frank Miller wasn't, nuts.
Although the signs are there.
The signs are there, but at this point they're kind of contained in this thing he's clearly thought about for a long time and has thought of the structure of and how it would sell as a book and how people would enjoy it progressing.
I was given a copy of Dark Knight 3, The Master Race.
Oh, Jesus.
And I've still not got more than about 50 pages into it. It's just nonsense.
Oh, God.
It's really bad.
It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. And what sucks is how some of the stuff is lumped into the same continuity. It's really weird. Year One is apparently the same continuity. Sure, I buy that. Sure, there's a couple bookended things here. It's the story of his first, year. It's the story of his eventual return after he's apparently gone. The Selena stuff is bookended, like her early life and her later life. Like,
I think Year One is one of those things where it's sort of self-contained enough to work as an origin story for pretty much any version of Batman.
Yeah. Right. But the subtle signs are there.
Yeah.
That when you read Returns, you go, oh, it's that. Oh, they're paying that off. Oh, it's this. But obviously in reverse. And it's like, okay, that's kind of cool. But then All Stars part of it. And then Dark Knight Strikes Again and 3, The Master Race is part of it.
Dark Knight Strikes Again is awful. It's so... But it's not just bad. It's spectacularly bad. Like, to the point where you're just like, how did the same person write this?
Hey, Matt. Plastic Man's a cannibal for reasons. Remember that? Do you remember that? Do you remember how Wonder Woman spends the whole story just walking around going, men are fucking pigs. And that's all she does in the book? That's all she does.
Do you think Frank Miller's got some internalized hatred?
Some.
Internalized self-loathing.
One cannot merely quantify Frank Miller's inner demons with
just
some... Right.
Frank Miller has got some inner demons.
I was just joking with that pronunciation of demons then, but it's just reminded me, we started Warriors of the Deep this week.
Oh!
Because we hate ourselves. And our Doctor Who marathon, on Sunday we made a meal out of the 5 Doctors and had a blast.
Yeah, and I mean, there's enough tune of the scenery going on in the 5 Doctors, you might as well join in, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then on Tuesday night went, go on, we'll start Warriors of the Deep. Solid. We're on momentum. Let's do it. This hasn't been Lucy's favourite era in the marathon, so let's get.
You need momentum to
get
through Warriors of the Deep. It's an uphill fucking struggle.
I let her know ahead of time. This is bad. It's got some really nice sets, but it's bad. It's got the one clip in it that made not yet Director General, but soon to be Director General Michael Grade go, I'm going to cancel this show when I get the chance.
I hate this show so much, I'm going to cancel it.
It's literally the shot of the Merker attacking the
good.
Scientist in the corridors. It's just the most painful thing.
It's bad.
So bad. I know you like it, but you also
I like it, but
you also like murderers and exploding children. So
that's not true.
No, that's not true.
That's not true.
You like it when a thing shaped like a child explodes. Doesn't have to be a child.
Yeah,
could be a pinata full of firecrackers that's shaped like Little Orphan Annie. But in the first episode, what are the I can't remember his name now, but the other guy who's a double agent, the bloke, not the lady, refers to someone's death as their demise.
Demise.
It's just like, his demise was an unfortunate. It's like, sorry, did he just shut the fuck up? Did he just say demise and no one corrected him or went again? He said demise.
That's like in Horror of Fang Rock with Tom Baker talking about the chameleon effect.
Yes.
For the Rutan being able to change shapes. Like, no, Tom, it's chameleon.
It's chameleon, Tom.
Chameleon.
But to be fair, this is also Tom, and it was probably a creative decision on his behalf. I'm just like, I would say chameleon, because chameleon is boring and earthly, but chameleon, beyond the stars. Chameleons, they look like cabbages. They change shape. One day, I'm going to have one as a companion one day. Ha ha, yes. Why is Nathan Turner sniffing around the production office again? Tell him to get out of there.
I'm the producer now.
I tell you, if he ever becomes in charge, I'm going to visibly hate my year on the job and then fuck off. And then I won't come back for the 20th anniversary, partially because I'm the one who broke America and I want a higher fee, and partially because I don't want to work with John Nathan fucking Turner again. John Nathan Turner did some amazing things for Doctor Who. That is undisputed. He genuinely did. But at the same time, our rewatches made me realise when he takes over is when I start to have less of an actual attachment to the show. And I realise that's because I'm so ingrained in the Barry Letts, like the John and Tom
like
and the Hinchcliffe. Like, that's my classic Who. Although,
but for me, that's always been the golden age of the show. Like, it never gets that good again, I don't think.
Although by second and third series Sylvester, anyway. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in. Also Colin, but that's just because I like Colin, not necessarily his era.
Yeah.
He was the best that he could be.
He was the best.
The greatest thing since John Pertwee. Oh, Colin.
I appreciate him in the same way that I appreciate Peter Capaldi. Like, you did the best you could with what you had.
Do you know what I'm listening to at the minute? Not right this second, because that'd be really ignorant. But
the voices.
I had to go to the post office and go to the shops today, and I'm depressed every time I interact with people out in the real world, and how we are 2 days away from a legally mandated mask order. And to be fair, this was the first time I went into our big local supermarché, and there was more than 5 people wearing masks. I was like, oh my god,
that must be something.
Oh, it's happening. People are starting to go, maybe I should start wearing it now and get used to it. Good!
Yeah. Something that shouldn't have happened back in fucking March.
Yeah. But I thought I'd distract myself. I've been listening to music a lot lately, but I thought I'd put on something I've never listened to, but I've always been told is the best one and you should listen to it. I've been listening to Zagreus, the Big Finish Doctor Who story from the late 90s, early 2000s or whatever it is.
Zig and Zagreus.
Zagreus. They say that word every 5 seconds and it's hilarious. It's pretty great, actually.
Yeah, some of that Big Finish stuff is pretty good, as it turns out.
Each episode's a bit long. It could be a good 20 minutes shorter per episode. But it's pretty fun.
How long are the episodes?
It's 50 minutes to an hour per episode. Just sort of...
That
it's
is
a lot.
fucking long.
But, the premise is interesting. Doctor's taken over by a possible godlike parasite, and the two of them are coexisting in each other and are trapped in the TARDIS, which is trying to confound them so that they'll never escape. Meanwhile, Charlie, the companion, her mind is taken by the TARDIS, who appears to her as the Brigadier, because she's met the Brigadier and it's a friendly face.
Okay.
Appears to her as the Brigadier and is like, right, we might have a solution to either trap the Doctor or get this thing out of him for good. And it's to do with these 3 different incidents in time. So they basically holodeck / Christmas Carol that shit, where they show up in these 3 different events, but to everyone else around them, they are another person. They're someone who's meant to be there.
Yes.
And they're not actually affecting time or anything because it's a flashback. It's like walking. It's like Assassin's Creed. It's Doctor Who Assassin's Creed. They're walking into an event that's already happened, and they're affecting how it happens, but it's not. They've not time traveled to it. It's just like a simulation almost. And in these 3 incidents, the other characters, because you realise the TARDIS has put this together to make it work. So the other characters are very familiar voices. I was like, oh, that guy sounds like Mark Strickson. Oh, that sounds like Annette Wilkes. That sounds like Sarah I mean, that's just Peter Davison.
That sounds like Richard Herndon.
You joke, the death zone is in this story.
Yes!
And when they get there, it goes... It's like...
Herndon's horn is sounding.
And this time in the death zone, there's mentions of quarks and drashings. And what they actually encounter is a Jabberwock, which is part of the story itself, because Alice in Wonderland runs throughout the story as a recurring theme.
Oh!
Yeah, but it's great. Like, the first setting is a science experiment, and this reverend who's basically overseeing it from a moral standpoint during the early years of the Cold War is who's played by Peter Davison, and you realise he's starting to go along with it all because he has a belief that he might actually get to meet whoever created the universe, and he's only been supporting it because he's trying to ambush it and use it to like finally answer the questions he wants answered. Then there's a story with the then head all-mother or whatever of the Sisterhood of Khan visiting Gallifrey to confront Rassilon about something in the early days of Gallifreyan society, and the two people with her, one of which is played by Colin Baker, turn out to actually be the ancient ones, vampires, who are there to get revenge for what's just been done to the rest of their people. And then in the third one, Charlie wakes up and she thinks she's looking at a sideshow exhibit, and then she realises it's a mirror, and she's a 6-foot-tall mouse in battle armour. And she's approached by a 7-foot-tall duck in battle armour, and they have to rally their troops of other like woodland animals in battle armour because they are the non-humanoid animatronics in a theme park that are about to go to war with the humanoid animatronics.
Sure.
And you're like, what? And they're all after the animator, who is the secret to the success of the war, which is the cryogenically frozen creator of the company.
The animator.
Yes, called I think it literally his name is like Uncle Willy, something like that, or Uncle Winky, or something stupid like that. And he's played by McCoy. And it's like, did they just do Disneyland Goes Itchy and Scratchy Land? Like,
sounds like it.
What? It's pretty fun. I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting to really enjoy this. Plus, when Rassilon does rock up in it, it's Don Warrington, so you know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and the Brigadier's voice is Nicholas Courtney because it's early Big Finish, so it's like, oh, that fills me with warmth. And Paul's very good, and there's a whole thing about Schrodinger's cat, where the Cheshire Cat traps the Doctor in a box with cyanide, and like, while he's in there, he tries to get out with Alice in Wonderland logic, tries to convince the cat that the cat's mad because he's clearly dead, but he's hearing voices, so he needs to open the box to make sure that he's not mad, and all this stuff. And it's like, this is pretty fun. But yeah, so if people aren't wearing masks around you, folks, A, let your authorities know, and B, listen to some Big Finish Doctor Who on Spotify. Zagreus! Obviously, if people aren't wearing masks for medical reasons, they can't wear a mask. Don't harass them, but they also shouldn't be in the shops. Their friends, family, or neighbours should be helping them out at this time to get the stuff for them, and they need to isolate, because holy shit.
Listen, Chris, you can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, I can.
It is against my civil rights for you to urge me to take action that could save my own life.
What about freedom?
Of others.
What
about freedom in the land of Britain? Now we are free from EU tyranny.
Oh, Jesus. Raise a glass to freedom.
Let's all go to the pub. Honestly, I've seen my Facebook timeline has been full of people like going to pubs and going to theme parks and stuff. Now things have, quote unquote, gotten back to normal.
No.
They really haven't. I'm like, you could not fucking drag me into a pub. You couldn't pay me to go to a pub. It's just not happening. It's not happening.
It's mental. You know, in central Manchester, they found a way to make it less hazardous to a point. Because obviously there are people who, like, live in the city centre. And if you live in the city centre, you don't have that option of a short walk somewhere being uninterrupted. You don't have that option of a garden. No. You don't have certain things.
No.
So I could understand if you lived in, say, like, you know, off Piccadilly Gardens somewhere, you'd want to do something to stop yourself going insane. And some of the bars on like Oldham Street and places like that have moved their seating into the road, blocked the road off, and they only seat like 5 or 6 tables with spaces for what would be like 10 tables in a section outside their bars, and they do table service instead of you going to the bar and ordering. It's still like, if you don't need to go, like if there are people traveling into town to do that, stop. But if you're living in town and you need something to break the insanity of the 4 walls you're paying a stupidly extortionate amount of money to rent, and like no proper window you can open, no park you can get to without encountering a bunch of people, and you can walk 5 minutes down the road to have a pint that's brought to you in an area where as long as you're wearing your mask you should be alright, fair enough, go do that. But I know what you mean. It's when people are posting like Thorpe Park videos and you're like, what is wrong with you?
Why the fuck are you at Alton Towers? What's going on?
Oh, God. Just like, oh, my God. My friend Phil was with work, made to shoot some stuff at Blackpool, Pleasure Beach a couple of weeks ago. I say made to. Obviously, he could have denied, but when he sort of heard the proposal for how they were going to do it, he went like, okay, right, I'll go along. We'll do a couple of hours. We'll shoot this thing and we'll leave. Because, performers need money, motherfuckers. Yeah. Even people with regular contracts are not able to get to studios, so their days are obviously being spread out further, and So, he did it, and I said to him, like, how was it? And he says, barely anyone there. There's about sort of 30 people in the whole park. So he didn't feel like it was do you know what I mean? While he was there, it was like, we don't feel like we're overshadowed, but you see the videos of Thorpe Park, you see the videos of Alton Towers, and you're like, why are they letting so many people in?
We went to...
the show's not sponsored by Merlin Attractions, in case anyone's wondering.
No. We went to Chester Zoo for Geek's birthday, and they were only letting certain amounts of people in. They had limited ticket sales, pre-sales only.
Yeah, you went for like a slot in the afternoon, didn't you? You went for like a 2 to 3 hour, so kind of, let's go do it for a few hours and then head home.
When we turned up, the cars were all still parked next to each other. They were still using overflow parking.
Oh, God.
And there was a sort of, but not really, one-way system implemented in the zoo, which no one was paying any attention to anyway. Loads of hand wash stations, no masks. God. I think me and Keeks were probably the only people in the entire zoo wearing masks. And it was just...
I mean, to be fair, I can understand the elephants not wearing them because you can't get them over the ears.
Hey! But it's just things... And they closed off the indoor
Imagine what it's like for the snakes. They've got nothing to hook them to.
It goes all the way down. Just put an elastic band around them.
Just put them in a plastic bag.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this and you have a snake, please don't put it in a plastic bag.
Don't put snakes in plastic bag.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
But it was just a case of like, oh, fuck me. And you just get these groups of people. It's like 6 people all, gathered around a matriarch who's, welded into one of these mobility scooter things. And then it's like, then there's the rest of the family and a couple of screaming kids. And you're just like, what? You've clearly got some underlying health condition, so what the fuck are you doing in a public space?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And I bet you're fucking one of the people who complains about all the lockdown restrictions. Well, I mean, what lockdown restrictions at this point? Like, pretty much everything's back to normal except theatre and cinemas.
Cinemas and arenas and comedy clubs. Basically, performance spaces are the only places that, like, still are going. Yeah, we don't know. Well, there's been some great adapting to that. There's a lot of drive-in comedy venues now.
We were supposed to go to a drive-in comedy show.
Yeah.
And then we booked tickets for it. And then the same day, Live Nation cancelled it.
God.
Not the people who were doing the show, the event, like the company running the show. They opened ticket sales and then cancelled it.
Have they given a reason yet?
Nope.
Bleed now.
Give us a refund, but give us a reason. And meanwhile, the two lasses who were the actual comedians who were doing the show were just like, yeah, they cancelled it. We're sorry. We wanted to do it, but they've cancelled it.
They've called it off, so we don't know what the fuck to do now, guys.
It's almost as if certain sectors of the economy are being forced to open early, so certain people can make some money before everybody dies. Whereas sectors of the economy that might actually have something critical to say about the government are remaining silenced. Imagine that being said, I don't know what you would do to open a theatre at this point. Like, I wouldn't... Were I running a theatre, I wouldn't feel comfortable opening it, even if, like, financially, I needed to. But...
The only ones I could think of where it's like,
sure,
it's like open air theatres. The only ones I could think of where you could kind of make it work.
Yeah, but you'd have to space them out, though, wouldn't you? And I think the problem a lot of theatres have is that the amount of spacing they would need to do to keep everyone safely distant in an enclosed space, would mean that they wouldn't be able to actually sell enough tickets.
Yeah, the profit wouldn't be worth it
to operate for that time. So. But then, you know, you got people are going to fucking pubs, man.
Yeah.
Because Tim Martin wants to get some more money.
Don't get me started on him, Jesus.
Eat the fucking rich, man. Eat the fucking rich.
If Badger were the villain of Wind in the Willows, given human form. Who walks around this world with hair like that and goes, "This is normal"? I mean, I'm not one to insult someone's appearance. Like, I look like someone's tried to turn their Action Man with real hair into 2015 era Max Landis, but like, it's just minus the rainbow. But like, it's or the sexual assault. But it's you know, it's like you look at him and you go, you have the hair of a Lego figure. You look like somebody has taken a comedy wig and just sort of gone, that'll do. And then it stayed there somehow. He's so bizarre looking. He's the definition of a gammon. He looks meaty and sweaty at the same time.
I was talking to a friend of the show, Charlie DeMello.
Beautiful Charlie. How's he doing?
Recently. He's well.
Is he alive?
We were talking... Yeah, he's very much alive and well. And we were talking about, you know, all this bullshit. And I described Tim Martin as looking like Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs wearing a skin suit of Buffalo Bill. It's like he skinned himself and he's wearing his own skin.
Yes!
As a skin suit.
Yeah. Oh, God. Like, it fits, but it's not been fastened right round the back.
No.
So, like, the face is slotted in, but then he's just sort of gone, you'll be okay, I don't need a fastener.
It needs taken in. Listen, it's the first day of school tomorrow, and you've still not taken any pants. You're going to walk in there, and everyone's going to think you're stupid. Need to get it taken in, lad.
It rubs the lotion on its skin, or it can go and get a job at Tesco, I don't care.
So yeah,
don't go to spoons, folks.
Don't go to spoons.
Not during lockdown, and especially not after lockdown.
Well, it was a friend of Charlie's who created the Neverspoons app.
Was it?
Which will direct you to a local bar that isn't Wetherspoons if you absolutely must go to a pub. And I say, don't go to a pub.
Yeah, not now.
But hey, that's just my opinion, man. I just want everybody to be fucking safe, particularly the people who have to fucking work there.
Yep.
Like, if you absolutely must go. And
again, like if you're in the central,
too much money for a beer.
If you're in the centre of a metropolitan zone and you have no option for fresh air or an easy accessible bit of walk for daily exercise and mental clarity.
Yeah.
Like, and you just need to do something to make yourself go, oh, this is normal, this is nice, okay, refresh. That was a fun half hour, back to the flat. Like, if you need that, get the Neverspoons app.
Yeah, don't go to Wetherspoons. Go to somewhere else. Christopher.
Mattstopher.
I'm so tired.
Tenet's been delayed, you know?
Tenet's been delayed. I've got nothing left to look forward to in this world.
But don't worry,
2020's cancelled.
Zendaya is Michi, so you know, like everything's okay. Everything's
Zendaya
alright.
will never be Michi again.
Yeah. Michi's dead. Zendaya's fine. Zendaya directed a short film in lockdown.
Did she direct it? I thought she was just
directed
in it,
as far as I'm aware. Or she either directed it or produced it. Like, she made it happen.
I think someone else directed it. Let me look. I know the one you mean.
Yeah, it's just, we're bored, so we're all going to take tests, and we're going to do this, and we're going to shoot for, like, a certain amount of days, and then we're going to self-isolate, and while we're self-isolating, we're going to edit it, and do the post-production. It's just like, what? Well, keep in mind, this was like early last month when Hollywood as a whole was being a lot more lax because they'd been sort of given the green light by the governor of LA of like, everything's okay. Governor of California, everything's all right. Yeah, like, things aren't back to normal entirely, so please practice as much restriction as you can, but like, go about your day, motherfuckers. And then as of this week, LA went, no, we're going back into lockdown and businesses closing and all that jazz. So, yeah.
It was directed by Sam Levinson.
Sam Levinson, okay.
So, Malcolm and Marie, starring Zendaya and John David Washington, and written and directed by Sam Levinson. Tenet also is John David Washington also starring in the upcoming Tenet.
When's that coming out?
But he was also in BlacKkKlansman, which is where you'll probably know him from.
Oh yeah, okay.
So yeah, that's what that is.
That's the thing, mother truckers.
That's what that is. Did you know Tenet had been delayed? Fucking hell. There's literally nothing else going on. That's all websites done was like, there's no Tenet. I went onto Den of Geek to troll for headlines, and Den of Geek's gone a bit shit on it.
Yeah,
it's all lists
It's been
now.
showing signs for a little while.
They've fallen into the list.
They've fallen into the BuzzFeed.
Yeah.
Powered by Facebook. Like, the trend a few years ago was a man stuck his dick in a penguin. You won't believe what happens next. And in recent years, it's been top 10 times a man stuck in his dick in a penguin.
And top 10 times he didn't.
Because that's
become the latest thing.
The top 10 thing, because and the way they do it is each web page houses one part of the 10 to 12 page article. So that's why they do it, because of course you then click next and you go to the next page, and that page has got 17 ads on it, even if they don't interrupt your enjoyment of the feature. That's how they're making their money. They obviously earn enough money from the sponsorship to justify the amount of like space they're having to pay for, because it's like, oh good god. But yeah.
Oh, I will tell you one thing that I saw that looks like it might be interesting.
Tenet?
Did you know that's been delayed?
No, but it's Christopher Eccleston. What the fuck? It's Christopher Nolan's magnum opus.
It's Christopher Nolan's new film. It must be good. So there's a trailer doing the rounds at the moment for an upcoming Russian sci-fi horror called Sputnik.
I mean, the title's already got my attention.
Well, it looks like... I'll leave you to look up the trailer in your own time.
Okay, is it based on Sputnik?
No, it looks like it's...
We've got some space race, we've got some satellite shit, what's happening?
It's Life.
Oh, the Ryan
Alien.
Gosling... Not Ryan Gosling. The Ryan Reynolds, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Alien on the ISS.
Yeah.
It looks like it's that, but with...
Russian people.
A lone cosmonaut returning to Earth from a mysterious mission as the lone survivor, and then he's on a Russian base, and then Alien happens. I mean, that's what it looks like. It looks like an Alien knockoff, but a pretty good one. In the same way that Life was
an Alien
knockoff, but it was pretty good on its own merits. Like, yeah, this is good. I've seen like most of this before. Interesting creature design, like really cool creature design. Okay. But I know where this is going, and but it's fucking good. Like,
okay,
yeah.
I've still got around to Life. Is it on any
Life
platforms
is good,
at the
man.
minute?
I watched it on Now TV, I think.
That's a sentence no one has said for 6 months, by the way. Life is good.
Life is good. I saw it on Now TV, but I don't think it's still on there. So you might have to wait and see if it comes to the Amazon or if it comes to... Oh, God, I'm yawning tonight. I apologise.
Yawny boy.
If it comes to Amazon or if it comes to Netflix. Speaking of Netflix, I watched a bit more Snowpiercer.
Oh, boy. It's weird, because that conveniently... will lead us into our next section as well.
Hey!
How's it been? How has the wonder that is Daveed Diggs and his magical face been?
It's good, man. The whole season's up there now, but I've still got 2 episodes left to go.
With his dreadlocks so long, they could be used for replacement train track if the train ever does run out.
No, it continues to be really good and, very relevant because it's all about class. And
how the lower classes are treated by the elite, and
yeah, basically, this is very on the nose. Well, yeah, of course, that's the fucking point. Yes, it's on the nose. It's supposed to be on the nose. No,
that's how you watch it in bed on your phone, like this, right up against your face.
Yeah, it's on my nose. It's a really solid show. It's got some really strong writing, some very strong performances. Like I say, I've still got 2 episodes of season 1 left to go, but considering I was sort of it kind of flew under my radar, and I just kind of ended up putting it on for something to put on. I was like, oh, actually, and then watch 4 episodes in one sitting. It's pretty fucking good. It's some really nice concepts in there. Some nice understated production design, which sort of hides the fact that this is clearly a show that's not got a ton of budget.
It's got a few train carriage sets, and they're going to make it work.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's all you need.
Yeah, plays with some interesting concepts. Like I say, I think it's nicely written. Got some good characters. It's similar to. Oh God, what is it similar to now? I can't remember. We were talking about adaptations before. Not me and you, me and Keeks. And we talked about the way that Snowpiercer is similar to some other adaptations in that it doesn't adapt the original graphic novel or even the film from which it takes its title. It just takes the concept and runs with it.
Or rather, puts it on track.
Yeah. And to be fair, from what I know of I've still not got around to watching the actual film, which I really should because it's Bong Joon-ho directed and Chris Evans is in it, and it's a good combo on anybody's paper. But from what I know of that also doesn't directly adapt the graphic novel. It just takes the concept and runs with it.
Fluffs around with it a little bit.
Yeah. What adaptation were we talking about that did that? I can't remember what we were talking about. But it was something that wasn't as good as Snowpiercer, I can tell you that. But yeah, so I do recommend it, because it's on Netflix, and if you've got Netflix, what the fuck else are you doing? You're not going to the pub. If you are going to the pub, you fucking shouldn't be.
And if you are, don't go to Wetherspoons.
Yeah, don't go to Wetherspoons. Alright, what are we doing now?
Having a cry, I think.
You're going to cry?
Yeah.
Shall I do some emails?
Hit me with emails. One may even have Snowpiercer-related content.
Possible. But first, we've been sent another quiz.
What the bastard?
From loyal listener and friend of the show, Ian. He sent us another quiz.
Official carer for the show.
Questions for the question god. I've just looked at the line of the email, the title of it, and I actually can't repeat that on record.
Oh, good God.
Fucking hell, Ian.
Oh, my God.
That's dark. Oh, boy's got a dark sense of humour. Anyway,
if you want to hear what the title of the email was, sign up to our OnlyFans.
The first Big Damn stream uploaded to YouTube was us playing what game?
Big Damn stream. So is this...
The first one on YouTube.
Yeah, so Big Damn stream and Big Damn play are the same thing, but Big Damn stream is what we used to be called.
Yeah, when we were doing it regs on Saturday nights.
So this is a playthrough. Like we're playing through a thing and we're uploading it.
It was mostly playthroughs. Well, we never finished Alien Isolation.
No, but in terms of on YouTube, we mostly posted highlights.
Yeah.
But the first full stream we posted, I don't even think we streamed it. I think we recorded it specifically for YouTube, and it was on my channel. And it was
Stadium one.
No, full stream. It was Lego Dimensions Doctor Who Fun Pack.
Did we not do one before that? Like pre Big Damn Cast, maybe?
Oh, no, this is pre Big Damn Cast. We streamed loads of games, but we never...
Did we not put them up on YouTube as Big Damn Streams?
Not full streams. It was always highlights. It was always like highlight clips of Alien or like Monster Racer or Who Wants to Be
Monster Racer, Jesus.
Stuff like that. The first like full stream was after the start of the podcast, and it was Lego Dimensions.
Okay.
Doctor Who level pack, if I remember correctly, because we did the level pack, then we did like on my channel, I think it was, and then we did like on Big Damn, we uploaded the free roam of the Doctor Who level pack and doing all the tasks and stuff, because we did it as a two-parter. So I think it's Lego Dimensions Doctor Who. That's my guess. Anyway.
Okay. I'm not making any guesses. I'm the question master.
Oh, B.
Oh, so I'm lazy.
Just like Bay, but collect honey.
I'm clutching my pearls. You can't see me if you're listening.
I am
actually clutching my pearls.
He is clutching at his pearls. He's like Martha Wayne.
My non-existent pearls. Question 2. What was the first geeky topic talked about first on the Big Damn Cast?
So that'd be episode 1 then.
Problem with Harley Quinn.
Problem with Harley Quinn was...
Did we open with some MCU news? Probably. That seems like a thing we would have opened with.
Do you know what? Just taking a bet, let's say, yeah, sure. Like
it's probably MCU news of some kind.
Yeah, like Doctor Strange or some shit.
2016, so yeah. Yeah, probably.
Just taking a stab.
What's the Big Damn Cast tagline?
Nerdy news, geeky gossip. That's the most recurring one.
Yeah. Depends on what Ian's definition of tagline is.
Yeah, that's true.
Question 4. Oh, this is a fucking puzzler.
The puzzler, Batman! Hello, it is I! Question 1. 4 across, 3 down.
What is the first episode to have the word Doctor in the title? And bonus question, who's the first Doctor to get a thumbnail?
See, that would imply it's Doctor Who. But I'm trying to remember whether or not Doctor Strange appears in a thumbnail before Doctor Who does.
Although technically, Harleen Quinzel was a doctor, so therefore Harley Quinn was the first Doctor to get a thumbnail.
But is it? What's the first part of the question? Is it the first one to contain the word Doctor?
The first one to contain the word Doctor.
Okay.
You're asking us questions we definitely don't know.
On a technicality, the very first episode contains a doctor in the thumbnail because it's Dr. Harleen Quinzel. But
yeah,
if we're going to play that game,
let me tell you something, Ian. As much as we enjoy these quizzes, while you think about your answer, Chris, as much as we enjoy these quizzes, and we do, we don't fucking know. Like we record the show, I edit it, Chris puts it online, and then I never think about it again. Literally never.
The next morning we wake up and go, what the fuck did I do last night? Every Thursday. That happens every Thursday.
I can't face my shame.
I think it's a trick question.
To have put this show out.
He's assuming a Doctor Who. I think it's Doctor Strange. I think that's the answer to both.
Okay.
I don't know what number the first episode would be.
The Doctor Strange episode, shall we say?
Because that would have been like November 2016. So, was there any Doctor Who on at that point? 2014 was series. Sorry, yeah, 2014 was series 8. 2015 was series 9. Series 10 was 2019. No, it wasn't.
2017.
Yeah, what am I talking about? Series 10 was 2017, because in 2016 we got the As Bill preview. in the football?
Asbill.
Because that was the year where we had no Doctor Who at all.
No.
Apart from the Christmas special. And we got the Asbill preview.
Which...
I'm pretty sure that's the case. So we wouldn't... Unless we did like a retro Doctor Who episode talking about stuff from the last couple of years, I think Doctor Strange is the first Doctor to get a title and a thumbnail.
Okay. Final question. Again, how the fuck are we supposed to know this? What was the closing line of the Big Damn Cast in the year 2016?
Did we have an out? I can't even remember. Because now we just sort of have an improvisational bit of petering out nonsense. Like,
no, I think what was the last line of the last podcast of that year, I think is what he's asking.
Oh. We'll see you next year.
We'll see you next year.
Or variation on, we'll see you next year, or we won't.
Maybe we won't.
Going to die, or something like that. No, it knows too. It's probably something faintly humorous and mostly pessimistic.
Let's find out what the answers are.
Hey!
Because I'm fucking... the answer email, separate email, wonderfully titled, Henry Cavill's Blue Tank Top.
Well, he can build my gaming PC any day.
Wasn't it? It's like, oh no! I remember someone put shared it on Twitter with the line, "Oh well, I guess I have this kink now, and I don't know what to do with it. Thanks, Henry Cavill."
Henry Cavill building PCs in a blue tank top. Still a better Superman movie than Man of Steel.
Yeah, true.
He's wearing blue. He's happy. He's making people happy good with it.
Yeah. So question 1, first Big Damn stream uploaded to YouTube was us playing what game? The answer may shock you.
Oh. Is it a clip?
It's Rocket League.
Oh. Wait. What? Yes. We streamed that. This is why I'm confused. We streamed that on YouTube.
Did we?
We did. We streamed Rocket League on Twitch as well back in the day, but we did a couple streams on YouTube to see if the viewing figures would be different. Like, because I had a subscriber base, so I was like, let's see if there are people who are willing to watch a stream here, and if so, we'll stream here from now on. And we did it a couple times, and we went, no fuckers watching. Let's go back to Twitch. But yeah, yes, that's right. It's like a damn.
What was the first geeky topic talked about on the first Big Damn Cast?
I love how this is the first of 2 Doctor Strange assumptions.
It wasn't Doctor Strange, but it was MCU news.
Oh, well, I'm having it then. I'm taking the point.
Pictures of Spider-Man. It was new pictures from Spider-Man Homecoming, so that must have been like when he was with his backpack in the concrete tube and all that fun stuff.
Yes. Damn.
Number 3, what is the Big Damn Cast tagline? I don't believe you here, Ian. He says, Big Damn Cast, it's so big. We
say that in like one of the first episodes.
Did we do that? Is that officially a tagline?
Not like this is our actual thing. I think we joke about like we need a tagline.
Yeah.
Big Damn Cast,
it's so big.
God. No, I'm sorry. Sorry, Ian. That's incorrect research. As far as I'm concerned, it's nerdy news, geeky gossip.
I am flattered that someone gives enough of a shit to look this stuff up, Ian. Honestly, you're a diamond geezer.
In lockdown, he's not gone to the pub. He's listened to the back catalogue. That's what's been happening.
Ian, bless your heart, but you need a hobby. I'm very flattered, but you need to get yourself a hobby, mate.
Don't listen to him, Ian. He's just trying to recruit you to Warhammer.
First, be a long... Knowing where Ian is, though, that'd be a long way to play a game. What's the first episode to have the word Doctor in the title, and who's the first Doctor to get a thumbnail? Episode 18, Doctor Strange will see you now.
Yes!
And the first Doctor in the thumbnail is Dr. Harleen Quinzel. So, our lateral thinking was good there, boy.
Hey.
Question 5.
Still alive.
What was the closing line of the Big Damn Cast in 2016? As in, like, I think it is right. Yeah, it's the last line of the last podcast we did in that year. In retrospect, it was a really poor choice of words.
Oh,
it's been a terrible year.
Oh,
have you noticed how, like, the world has only gotten worse since we started this podcast? Do you think we're responsible for the decline of Western civilization?
No, but Bowie and Prince passed away in early 2016, and it has been downhill since then.
It's just not stopped, has it?
Like, they are... You know how, like, in the Marvel Universe, the man thing is the nexus of all reality?
No, he guards the nexus of all realities.
Alright, so a big old swampy boy with his elephant trunk face. Like, if you get past him and you crash that nexus, everything falls apart. Well, in our universe, the shits universe...
shit!
Prince and Bowie were like
the
black
one.
were like the Black Guardian and the White Guardian, and now that they've buggered off, everything's gone to shit. Like, it's gone to absolute shit. Up is down, yeah. Like, red is blue. Henry Cavill's building PCs, and it's the best entertainment all week. Things are odd. It's an odd time.
Remember the old curse, Chris. May you live in interesting times. And we
but I think this is more like the game of. It's more like the game of Rassilon.
Rassilon, not Razzalon.
To lose is to win, and he who wins shall lose.
Razzalon's a...
Goodness me! It's the tardy.
Razzalon's a Time Lord porn man.
Susan. Razzle. No wonder his tower was so heavily guarded. He didn't want people to find his stash.
This one comes in from our favourite rabid Doctor Who fan, Sam.
Razzalon's tomb is the Gallifreyan equivalent of a shoebox full of playboys in the middle of the forest. The Death Zone. Cruel games between aliens forced to fight to the death before they reach Razzalon's tower.
Look at the budget they had.
His dirty stash.
Look at the budget they had. It's not really a shoebox full of playboys. It's like a quick save bag with a couple of Fiestas in it in Worsley Woods. You know what I mean?
It's a brown paper bag containing a boy who has a vague recollection of once seeing his older brother's copy of Nuts. and he'll tell you about it.
Oh, God.
Hi, Sam. How you doing, Sam? You all right, Sam?
Fucking hell. It says, hello, my lovelies. It's me. I'm sorry if my emails are a bit confusing, but I will try to make it less confusing. Hey, Sam, you do you.
Page 1 of 74.
It's a joy to read them. It's confusing, but it's a wild ride, and I have a hell of a time.
It's like being challenged with the finest riddle. Like I watch Matt's eyes light up as he absorbs the email into his being and comes out at the end of it a new man, Sam. Never apologise.
Strap yourself in and get ready for this one. So this week it's the Censorites, baby! From listening to the Season 1 review, you guys do not like this. But I do. Look, I like Octopussy and GoldenEye is shit. The Doctor!
Yeah. I get it. I get you.
The Doctor and his companions...
I get you, Sam.
The Doctor and his companions land on a spaceship orbiting a distant and mysterious world. The Sense Sphere. Oh, sorry. Ooh. God, I don't know why I'm yawning so much. Apologise, it's a fucking horrible thing to listen to. Episode 1 is not the greatest, but at the end, the Sensorite at the window just going, hey, sexy Ian, how are you? Good? Okay, bye. Which is included a gif of, which is wonderful. Yeah, it's
you don't
weird,
have to quit buggering me, young man.
It is weird. Episode 2, John, poor John, and Susan isn't shit, she is cool. William Hartnell is going up my list from 7th to 4th, but he's no John Pertwee. Episode 3, Sexy Ian is going to die. I think we like Ian. I think Sam likes Ian. Which is fine. He's got a certain charm about him. Episode 4, Fat Sensor.
He's got the old Chesterfield charm, eh?
Episode 4, Fat Sensorite is going to rise to power. Episode 5, is okay. And episode 6, Fat Sensorite, is in prison. So next week I'll be reviewing Inferno. See you next week. Goodbye, my friends. And then the gif of
Sensorite at the window.
Sensorite at the window going, "Hey, sexy Ian."
Brilliant.
I love it. I absolutely love what you're doing. I can't wait to hear what you think of Inferno, because I fucking love Inferno. And
Inferno
that's a
great.
bonkers story.
It's also got a Batman reference in it, so that's always a win.
Has it?
Yeah, Inferno's got a Batman reference.
Remind me.
The Doctor's tinkering away with the console in the sheds or whatever at the unit base. There's something to do with gadgets, and he sort of says like, "We're expecting Batman." It's like, "Oh shit!
Batman.
Doctor's name dropped Batman.
Batman.
Oh, Batman you
say. Chris, we've got
coming for you. I'm counting on it. You know, Liv, hand me the
we've got our
batarang.
first piece of hate mail, Chris.
Oh, bring it.
Our first piece of hate mail.
Let me
Well, I don't know if hate.
bathe in
I don't know
it.
if hate accurately describes it. It doesn't feel like it's venomous enough for hate mail, but sort of like maybe like ambivalence mail.
Miffed mail.
Miffed mail. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Simply titled "lol."
Okay.
And it starts with a quote of a tweet you put out end of last week, earlier this week.
Which one? The one where I said that Trump's a
No,
twat?
I think everyone agrees
with
with that.
Where I said that, or the one where I said that people who moan about modern Doctor Who are twats.
Helpfully, the person writing in has quoted it in full with an attribution, no less.
Oh.
I'm going to do your voice. You ready?
Oh, good lord. Okay. Let's be a ride. Right, just to clarify what's happening, listeners. Almost as though to prepare himself, Matt pulled a clownish face.
Yes, but who did I pull it off?
Well.
This isn't really Chris's voice, but it's just going to be a bit of a laugh.
Oh, God.
If your immediate response to everything Doctor Who related is a complaint about the current era, cast or showrunner, just take a step back, breathe in, remind yourself that constantly moaning does not equal having a personality, and breathe out. Chris Johnson.
Yeah, I said that. I did indeed say that. I don't know if I said it like that, but I definitely said it.
And here we go.
Rebuttal.
Here we go. The rebuttal. Are you ready for the button?
I'm ready for butts.
From the man who hosts a podcast where he and another man do nothing but moan, slag people and things off, burp a lot, and call some people extremely rude words. Oh, the irony, Chris. The absolute irony. All right, Mary Whitehouse.
Do they have a name?
I don't like using people's names unless they sign them.
No. That's fine. But starters, if you mean this genuinely, sign off at the end of the email, for fuck's sake.
I mean, you have access to the inbox too.
Why?
But also, like, who cares? Who's this? Who knows? That's not someone I recognise anyway.
Okay, so that's someone who's specially emailed in. Now, this is either a little comedy jab to sort of say, like, oh, come on, you do that on your podcast all the time. Or it's someone going, actually,
so ironic.
which also, I need to tell people, is not a personality trait.
Yeah.
That tweet was about the fact that last week, there was some Not My Doctor shit trending.
Oh, yay! See, I just stay off Doctor Who Twitter. Like, I just don't pay attention to anything Doctor Who on Twitter.
I don't even follow the official accounts. The official accounts because, like, I just seeing the replies makes me go, oh, for Christ's sake.
There's lots of things that I like and I'm a fan of that I really avoid engaging in the fandoms for because they're so fucking toxic, and Doctor Who is one of them.
I don't even consider myself like part of fandoms anymore. I just like what I like.
Yeah, I like what I like.
I
don't have to define myself by being a fan of something.
Yeah.
I get why people do, and I get why people who are younger do. I think it's something that, in a way, people have. I don't want this to sound condescending, but I think it is a way that it's something that people kind of grow out of. as they realise there's more to them than that.
Yeah.
Although that,
I know what you mean. Like, and that's not to say that being a fan or being in a fandom is a bad thing inherently, but it's just, like, it's one facet of who you are as a person. It's not all you are as a person.
I don't think it's an issue of maturity.
You get swept up in the romanticism.
Yeah.
You get swept up in the romanticism of it all. You kind of forget that, and you have to remember it later. Like, oh yeah, that's just part of it. Like, I am a patchwork quilt of things, and this is one patch.
I contain multitudes. I didn't take my worming tablet.
Well, multi-tubes. But so there's a lot of Not My Doctor stuff. There was some weirdly, like, racially specific complaints about Sacha Dhawan and Joe Martin doing the rounds this week.
What?
And their roles as the Master
racism?
The Ruth Doctor, respectively.
On the internet?
But, oh God. But exactly, so, but the thing is, that comment I made is directed squarely at the people who, whenever Doctor Who media or anyone posts anything Doctor Who related, often nothing to do with the current era, current Doctor, current showrunner, etc. They post anything, and someone responds with, back when it was good, not like now when Chibnall's ripping it to pieces, or, see, Tom's the Doctor, not Jodie, she'll never be my Doctor. The people who respond with just that, like, every Doctor Who thing is an excuse for them to go, but the new one's shit. Like, that's... Anyone who listens to this is like, yeah, I do that, and get a life. I know I'm saying that on a comedy podcast where we talk about pop culture news and that's all, like, we are sad, nerdy men. Of course we are. That's kind of the point. Yeah. But, like, you guys don't like the DCEU. Cool. Do we bring it up every episode? Nope. Okay. Right, there we go. Sure. Like, you guys aren't a fan of this. You guys aren't a fan of that. Yeah, sure.
I wonder why.
Do we bring it up all the time? That tweet is directed squarely at the pissy, whiny, moany, joyless twats that use any Doctor Who thing as an excuse to shit on what they don't like now with the show. Now, not all of those people, of course, hate it for misogynistic, sexist, xenophobic, racist reasons. Not all those people
There
do.
are people
they're all
we like
and
and know who don't like the current iteration of the show. But they...
Yeah, we're not bowled over by it. We just really
I think
enjoy
I'm
some
generally
of
more
it,
positive on it
the rest of it's fine.
than you are, but...
I think you're...
Even those of us those in our sort of circle who don't like the current iteration of the show, it's not because... It's about why you can... It's about articulating why you don't like it. If it's just, I don't like it because the Doctor is a woman now, that's... You need to think about that and what that says about you as a person. If you're like,
someone replied to it, that initial tweet earlier this week, someone replied to it with something like, don't you think that Jodie's, the perception of Jodie's Doctor over the years is going to be affected by the fact she's in terrible stories, by terrible script writers and terrible showrunners?
Colin Baker!
And I went, and I think this was in response to me saying, I said, so what, in your response, the first thing I'm seeing then in that response isn't that you're like, yeah, it's shit that she's being abused just because people don't like her run of the show. You're saying, well, it's the fault of the show. It's like, no. Her being unnecessarily abused and attacked just for existing, being a woman and being cast in the role is what I'm saying is bad. That's what I'm saying is bad.
Yeah.
Whether you like the showrunner, whether you like the scripts or not, they're not the reason why people are being shitty. And the person kept going on like, yes, but like, won't that just make people look back at the era and like mock her even more? Like they're ruining her potential. And it's like, motherfucker. If people are going to be nasty and hateful over a children's television program about a space wizard who travels in a blue box and has quirky adventures, if people are going to be horrible to the star of that and use not enjoying the current scripts as an excuse to be horrible to the star, those people are arseholes. They're horrible people, and that's what I'm pointing out. I'm saying if that's all you're doing online, if all you're doing online is pissing and moaning about the current era at every given excuse, go and do something else.
Please.
You moaning on Twitter, you moaning on the Facebook comment sections for any Doctor Who thing is not going to magically make the show you want to exist. That's not what's going to happen. If you're really hating it, fuck off. Come back in the time for the next showrunner. See if you enjoy it then.
You know what I do about things that I really don't like on the internet? I don't talk about them. I don't engage with them. Like, it's just, it's that easy. Like, we talk about things on here if they're current.
Yeah. We'll review stuff, we'll give our opinions, but we don't linger.
Outside of that, I just don't engage with it. Because it's not helpful to anyone.
The last time I tweeted negative critical thought on a piece of media that I can recall was the first Justice League trailer.
Yeah.
Back in like...
Yeah.
I think, was it late 2016 was when the trailer for Justice League originally, the first one
2017
dropped?
It would have been. Surely.
But it might have been early. Oh, yeah, it was like March 2017 because it was quite late, wasn't it?
Pre-Comic-Con.
Pre-Wonder Woman, pre-Comic-Con. So I tweeted, I just said, like, this looks drab, like, I love these characters, don't get me... I think the tweet was something like, I love these characters, don't get me wrong, but I'm not seeing their potential on screen. It just seems dark and unnecessarily kind
you
of
got a ton of shit
dreary.
For that,
call me when these movies are fun again. And it ended up in the Twitter moment, and I got harassed for weeks.
Yeah.
Harassed. And suck it up, Buttercup. Yeah, it's a bunch of people commenting on Twitter. It doesn't really mean anything to me ultimately. Because,
Buttercup.
Yeah, but it's that thing of like, imagine if you were just trapped in that vacuum, or imagine if you just looked across something you'd done to see that people were just shitting on you because of your opinion, really shitting on you continuously. I got it for 2 weeks off a tweet, and I went, well, this is kind of fucked up that people are like this. Instead of just going, oh, it's a shame you don't like it, like, I think it looks great. Do you know what I mean? Like, or, well, don't go see it then. I'll be like, yeah, sure, okay, fair enough response, bit nasty, but fair enough. Now imagine being somebody, in this case Jodie Whittaker, who ever since the announcement of your casting has had a nasty shit written about her just for existing and being a woman and being involved in the show that these people allegedly love and yet apparently have learned nothing from.
It's one of these, like, there are people who have genuine criticisms about the state of the show as it is, and those are people you can have a discussion with and be like, well, this didn't work for me because of this, and I can go, well, it worked for me, I didn't mind that so much. No, I can have a discussion with someone who doesn't like Orphan 55 about why I didn't hate Orphan 55, for example. But
Christ, check out our Orphan 55 review. I hated Orphan 55, and we had a wonderful discussion about it. It was great.
We're a pair of people who had different opinions on The Last Jedi, and it didn't tear us apart.
The example I always go back to, and that we've received like comments about since, is our Last Jedi review episode when that came out.
Whereas
you dug it, I disliked it, and we had a really lovely conversation about our opinions and why we thought the way we did, and we sort of like, softcore argued our corners, and then came out of it like, oh, this was nice. Cheers. Oh, there we go. Blah blah blah.
And then Rise of Skywalker came out, and we agreed on something again. But yeah, it's one of those things. You have to think about why you don't like something and what that says about you. And if you don't like something and you continue to focus on it and engage with it, it's not going to make life any better for you. It's not going to make you feel better. Like, life is too short to spend your time shitting on stuff you hate. And if that's all you can do, then you need to reassess sort of where you are, because it's not healthy. Like, just don't engage with that stuff. If you don't like it, if it makes you angry, there's no need to like take to Twitter and shit on people who are involved with it because they're women or of a certain ethnicity or of a certain sexuality or whatever. Like, there's no place. We live in a society where there shouldn't be a place for that anymore. Unfortunately, there is, because there's so much fucking bigotry at the top that it trickles down and enables other people. But it's like we're better than that as people, as a species. We should be. So why aren't
especially
we?
when it's fiction,
it's not real.
It's in the grand scheme of things, it's not important. It can be. It can do important things, but that's based on the individual's perception of it.
It's not real, but the people involved with it are. So you have to approach it like that. They are people, and they don't deserve to be harassed and talk shit about constantly. Like, unless they're shitty people, in which case you can call them out. Call out people in positions of power.
Separate from the art itself, if horrible shit is coming from that person, sure, like, let them know that you think it's horrible. Let them know that they're, scummy for doing it. Like, hold people to account for actual nasty shit. Hold politicians to account for doing the wrong stuff or not looking after your interest. They work for you. For Christ's sake, they work for you to try and keep you safe. And if they are not doing that, hold them to account. Hold their feet to the fire.
Hold J.K. Rowling to account for being a
cast in a role.
Don't hold her to account for being a woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But a woman's cast as a role that had traditionally been male up to that point, despite the fact the character could very openly be anyone. And anything, and be represented in any kind of way. If you spend your online life using any Doctor Who conversation just to piss and moan on the current era, and that's all you have to say, it's Roger Delgado's birthday, says BBC America's Twitter account. Happy birthday, Roger Delgado. One of the first bloody responses was a tweet saying something along the lines of, he'd be sick if he saw the condition the show was in now. Chibnall has ruined Doctor Who.
Oh, God.
What has that got to fucking do with Roger Delgado's
Just don't say anything.
So, an original emailer, if you're joshing us and saying, you two piss and moan all the time, what are you talking about? Then, yeah, fair enough. We piss and moan all the time.
We do call people extremely rude words. I love the prissiness of that as well. It's very well, we need to keep discourse civil, or else it's not proper discourse. All right, sure.
Oh, okay. God,
whatever you say.
Yeah, in our personal opinion podcast, of which we do not fire in the direction of any individuals we're having a go at, and if we do have a go at someone, it's very rarely because we just don't like their work. It's usually because we don't like their approach, their behaviour, their stance, and it's like
we will talk shit about people in the industry who are believed to be abusive or shitty or straight up rapists in some cases, or people who committed vehicular manslaughter before going on to be a darling of
Broadway darling
of the late 90s and early 2000s movie scene. Particularly in family-friendly genre films. Then what
we're basically saying is,
call that out,
if you are not somebody who bases your entire social life online or in person, or your entire creative output, if you are not somebody who bases that solely on hating Jodie Whittaker, Chris Chibnall, and the current people working on Doctor Who right now, then that tweet wasn't aimed at you. So you shouldn't be taking offence. Yeah. So there you go.
It should
if you are that particular genre of YouTube creator where that's all you freaking do, alongside videos shitting on Brie Larson for breathing, then y'all can go fuck yourselves.
That's the thing as well,
like plain and simple. And also, I'm sorry, they should have the free speech. Yeah, so should I. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah, free speech isn't.
God, fandom annoys me.
Free speech is. It's the right to say things. It's not the right to be listened to, or have it matter.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah. But freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequence. Cool. You said, well, you're pissing and moaning. Yeah, we are. Yeah.
About certain things.
There you go.
But I think it's not all we do. Let's be honest. I think we try and stay a bit more positive than some other shows out there, and also
we like things like
that one thing.
Cheese.
Cheese. You like cheese?
I like cheese. Cheese is great.
I don't think we burp
cheese
that much. I know we fart. Well, I fart a lot, but I don't think we have that many burps.
Oh, they must have. They're listening to it with the burp, a burp audio descriptive option. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why we keep doing those. I'm not sure who it's for, but hey. Next one.
We don't even upload them to YouTube or SoundCloud. We just put them on a USB stick and stick it in a bucket.
Yeah, it just appears on the internet. It's the dead drop. So this one comes in from a long time emailer. long-time listener, long-time correspondent Tom Monty, and he says, in his own inimitable way,
in his sonorous drawl,
dear Chris and Matt.
Oh,
I'm not doing the voice. I'm not doing the voice. Thanks, because it takes twice as long to do the voice. Quite frankly,
sign off with the voice, and I'll give you a shiny penny.
All right, okay, I'll do that
next year when it's safe to give you a penny.
Thanks for the advice you gave me last time on how to tackle classic Doctor Who. I'm going by the list of serials you recommended to get through the Hartland Troughton area. Troughton era, not area. Sorry, I misread that.
The Troughton area is a very different thing.
And I must say, I've been enjoying it more than I was. The main reason I'm watching it is because I've been meaning for a very long time, but I've always just struggled to get through the earlier stuff. But I think once I get to Pertwee, I think I'm going to enjoy it a lot more. I do, to be fair.
I loves me some John. It's my favourite era.
Yeah. I'm a Tom guy, but I like John a lot. As someone who's so seasoned in New Who, I can recall the title of any episode just from this series and episode number. I just think it's kind of silly not to watch what New Who is based on, considering this decade's worth of content for a show that I once loved. Also, as someone who's not a huge fan of the current incarnation of the show, I feel like now's as good a time as ever to delve into the depths of classics to hopefully reignite the love that I once had. It's fair. Anyway, in my last email, I said I was watching Dalek Invasion of Earth, and since then I've got to Power of the Daleks. I didn't realise Susan left so early on in the run. And it was kind of a weird exit, with the Doctor closing the TARDIS door on his own granddaughter and leaving her in a post-apocalyptic future version of Earth with a man who's asked her to marry him after only knowing her for a few days and not even giving her a proper goodbye. It all felt very rushed. But I didn't enjoy seeing that famous "one day I shall come back" speech in context. It is a bit weird, the ending to that, but that happens a lot, particularly in the early days of the show, where they're like, okay, because there wasn't really like overarching character development for a lot of the people on it.
Oh no!
So you just got like, this person's is leaving. Okay, well they're done. I mean, what about Dodo's exit in War Machine? Do you know what I mean? Like she's sick. Oh, she's better now, but she's not coming back. It's fucking great. So yeah, she's not coming back. She decided to not come back. All right, whatever you say. So what were your thoughts on Susan's exit? Does she come back at any point in the classic run? Is it the real Susan in Five Doctors, or is it like an illusion?
It is her.
Yeah.
It is her, but they don't acknowledge
touch on anything
where
else.
She's been, like what she's been up to since, why she's dressed like someone going to the Rover's Return in a late 80s episode of Corrie. Like they don't really get into it at all. She's just like, as soon as she gets dragged to that place, and she says begins looking for her grandfather, because she's like, she knew he must be here. Like, this circumstance is such the sort of thing that they would have on one of their old adventures. So she's like, I knew I had to find you.
Yeah.
And here you are. And you're like, okay, right. And that's kind of it.
It feels like
she twists her ankle, and there you go.
Yeah, that's Susan. But yeah, I think we covered our thoughts on Susan's exit pretty well, unless you have anything to add.
It's sweet and kind of like, wait, is that
comes out of nowhere, but it's quite
really?
sweet, yeah. And she gets replaced in the next story, so it's fine. Surrogate granddaughter.
Come in, Vicky. Your time is up.
Thoughts on Susan as a companion? I honestly didn't really like her. She didn't do much apart from open the TARDIS doors and screamed every time she was in danger. Welcome to classic Who. Particularly the black and white years. Yeah, I
don't hear her as a companion, but she's there for the younger kids watching it in the 60s. Like, she's there to be the closest to their age, to make them go, oh, that could be me. I could be going on those adventures. That's kind of her role.
Yeah, but she's too kind of smart and alien to be a true audience surrogate.
Relatable.
Oh, sorry. In that sense.
The characters at her absolute best, funnily enough, in episode 1, where she's the focal point of this kid's really odd, isn't she? Like, and
never really
she seems like really stressed out and scared. Let's go. Let's go talk. Apparently, she lives with her grandfather. Let's go talk to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. We never really get back into that. But she's sweet enough. I think Carol Ann Ford gives the character a lot of the traits that made people like Susan.
Yeah, I don't think the writing does her any favors because I think, and this is like I alluded to, this is kind of a problem with a lot of the early writing on the show. Is that it's just a bit, oh, screamy, run away, There's a thing here.
Well, everyone has nuance, but it's more so coming from the actors than it is.
Yeah, definitely. The scripts feel a bit one-dimensional, particularly for the female characters, the female companions. They're very damselly in distress, at least until. Oh God.
Sort of Liz, really. I mean, Zoe and Victoria and Vicky and Polly and they all have their moments, but it's only really when Liz Shaw comes along.
Yeah, the things that...
And then Joe is kind of set up to be almost a parody of what you're expecting the character to be like. And the idea is that, yes, she's a bit off her tits, she's a bit ditzy, she's not the sharpest tool in the shed.
But she's probably the first companion to have a proper journey.
Yeah, she's endearing, and you can see her fighting spirit, and the Doctor, reluctantly at first is like, well, maybe I'll work with her a bit longer, and then over time it's like, no, these two are peas in a pod, they absolutely get on now. And then Sarah Jane sort of defines what the role could be for everyone. She plays every function of the companion in a way that's really, really brilliant, and it's kind of the template going forward for that's how we need to do it. Which is why the Fifth Doctor's era just doesn't really appeal to me, because it's like, does he like any of these people?
No, just get stuck with them.
What is going on? Why?
It literally just
bizarre.
Gets stuck with them.
It's so bizarre.
But I'm sure we'll get to that at some point in the future.
Oh, yeah.
Tom goes on to say, I enjoyed the first Doctor. I think that my favourite story of his was the 10th Planet, despite the final episode being animated. Well, you can only do with what you can, can't you? You only work with what you got.
You have to go with what is available. You must play it where there was a chance, maybe.
It was nice.
I love how the Cybermen talk in that story. I freaking love it.
I
love it. I also love how that's the first time the Doctor ever encounters them. But then we've just watched the 5 Doctors, and in that it's like, the Daleks and the Cybermen were always forbidden from the Death Zone. Hang on,
what?
Hang on, motherfucker. You discovered both of them.
It was nice.
What?
It was nice to see the Mondasian Cybermen. I also liked the Romans. Nero chasing Barbara around the palace was very entertaining. I always imagined the first Doctor to be a grumpy old man from all the clips I've seen of him in the past, but after watching his time on the show, I was pleasantly surprised. I love his little high-pitched laugh he always does, and I must say... No offence to David Bradley, I now understand the backlash that Twice Upon a Time's portrayal of the First Doctor got, but I think now might be a good time for me to rewatch An Adventure in Space and Time. What is your favourite Hartnell story, and why? Ooh. But before we answer that, I'll finish the email. Now that I'm on Troughton, I never realised how much of his tenure is missing. Yeah, it's fucking tragic, man. From my adventures in Classic Who, my main goal is to get a good feel for each Doctor. Ooh, sorry. So that I make a bigger ranking of them all at the end. From the list you gave me, Power, Tomb, Web of Fear, Invasion, War Games, do you think that they will be enough for me to have a nice understanding of who the second Doctor is? Yours, Tom Monty. So first off, favourite Hartnell story.
Aztecs.
Aztecs is fucking great.
Love the Aztecs.
Aztecs is really good.
Love.
Did we not mention Aztecs last time?
I think we did.
If we didn't,
but that's
if
to
we
me,
didn't
that's
mention
my
Aztecs,
fave.
Tom, and you skipped Aztecs, go back and watch Aztecs. It's fucking great. I can't believe we didn't mention it last time.
No, Tiltoxel is the villain, and he's one of the first of a sort of small handful over the original run who deliver a line to camera.
He loves it. The Toxel,
my God.
Priest of Sacrifice.
I'd forgotten about that bloody Auntie Mabel from Come Outside as the pirate captain in Enlightenment. I'd forgot that she gets a bit where she just randomly just delivers it down the barrel of the camera, and you're like,
Enlightenment's so good. I love Enlightenment.
It is. It's great.
It's great.
It's a bit sort of like, what the fuck is happening by the time of the last episode, but the premise is brilliant. Yeah. We're Eternals and we're bored, so we steal people from civilizations and we have races and we decide that our spaceships are going to look like whatever race they're from, and we have a fair race, and it'll be a laugh. And this time, the piratey one's like, yeah, no, sod that. I'm going to shoot everyone else down. It's like, okay.
And the big crystal that makes the head floaty.
Yeah, oh god. Oh my god. But those spacesuits though. Those spacesuits are amazing.
Nice.
So the Aztecs, the rescue and the Romans back to back is a really fun pairing.
Well, Tom mentions enjoying the Romans.
That's 6 episodes total, so that's a good
the rescue I can take or leave, but the Romans I like a lot.
Oh, come on, Coquitlian. He's amazing. And that set at the end of the rescue, that set that they used for 3 minutes, like the temple, it's like the biggest set they've used so far, the biggest set they've constructed for the show.
Yeah.
And it's in it for 3 minutes, and then they bugger off. You're like, oh.
Do you think they nicked it from someone else? They borrowed it from another sci-fi film or something that was
maybe it was someone else at Ealing or whatever. Yeah, they were just like, can we have you, if we bring this like table and this bit of fake stonework in, can we use your giant cavern, please? Yeah, sure, why not? Come on in.
I don't think any of the Hartnell Dalek stories are really that good. They're all too long.
Worth a watch, but not
the chase is not worth a watch. Having now watched it, I can heartily say the chase is not worth a fucking watch. It is
Mary Celeste, Empire State Building.
Pants, mate.
Weird fun house that makes no sense.
It's not even good.
With Dracula dubbed because his teeth are too big, so he can't speak around them, so he's dubbed.
All the shit with the Doctor's robot double is awful.
The robot yeah, boy. He's just flapping his arms, and then it's only Hartnell on the close-ups.
So inconsistent.
Oh my god, I love it.
It's not good, man. It's not good.
Ian and Barbara's exit is brilliant.
Yeah, all right, fair. There is that.
Because you can tell, knowing what we know now about Hartnell, we can tell that he's channeling the fact that he's pissed off they're leaving the show and leaving him. But at the same time, like, is going to miss them a lot, and he completely channels that into I shall miss them at the end, the way he reacts to them leaving, and then, oh, it's great. And it's joyous, the two of them laughing like absolute clowns on that bus, riding through London.
When?
And then the fact that Russell T Davies put in London 1965, and then Russell T Davies in Sarah Jane Adventures puts that beautiful full stop on their story in Death of the Doctor, where he after they've met Joe Grant and had that adventure, like Rani asks Sarah Jane, like, so are there others out there? And she's like, yeah, and from time to time, you look in the right place, you ask the right questions, and you learn about them. And she talks about these people she's heard about, like this woman called Tegan Javanka fighting for Aboriginal rights. And there's this woman called Dorothy who runs the organisation for wayward kids called the Charitable Earth. And you're like, oh shit! And the last one she says, and this is why every time Big Finish or Class or the main show ever creep even remotely close to doing something with Ian now, I'm always like, pull the fuck back.
Don't do it.
Because Russell gave the perfect PS to them in that. Because Sarah Jane says, and 2 school teachers, these are her words, I'm paraphrasing a little, but she says, two school teachers, Ian and Barbara Chesterfield.
Yeah.
Chesterton.
Stop buggering me, Chesterfield.
But yeah, I've turned it to Hartnell. Just Ian and Barbara Chesterton. So already that is like, wait, they did it? She says, they went missing for 2 years in the 60s. Some people say they haven't aged a day since. And that's such a weirdly kind of like, wait, huh? Like, there's no logical thing from the chase or whatever that would suggest that.
It's just...
But it just feels right for Ian and Barbara.
Yeah.
That they're teachers somewhere, they're married, and allegedly they're exactly the same as they were when they got back from being missing for 2 years.
Yeah.
And it might just be that they never lost their youthful exuberance, their love for life, that they're still giggling like idiots. But maybe they haven't aged, and why is that? I don't know, but it just feels right for these two characters. It just feels like such a wonderful kind of like, that's their PS? Oh my god. So, I love that. I love that.
They spent all their time at the villa in the Romans shagging, right? That was all they did.
They don't. I'm not saying that as like, don't put sex into Doctor Who. I'm saying they didn't because they figure out too late that that's what they should have been doing. Okay. That's why she's combing his hair. Because it's like that's the first bit of. Cause keep in mind as well, 60s etiquette with each other. They're being very prim and proper with each other, and they obviously got to the point where they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna comb your hair a bit. Oh, this is nice, bit of physical. Oh, bollocks,
Yeah.
Nero's
Oh, fucking Nero.
I'm on a slave ship, and you've been captured by the Emperor, by the bloody Caesar. Oh God, what are we gonna do?
Are those stories we gave Tom enough to get a sense of Troughton? I think so.
I absolutely
like you say,
think so.
there isn't that much. Like, the only real full stories you can add to... Oh, I suppose you can add Enemy of the World, but I've not seen that since it was recovered, so...
I like it.
I like it, but I wouldn't say... Much about that.
I wouldn't say it's essential viewing for Pat, out of the two that were found in that batch, Web of Theories, because it's just... It's a great idea of him, it's a sniff at what will happen later.
Yeah, that and the invasion
sort of becomes a thing.
Helping to sort of set up
because Webb's the first appearance of Lethbridge Stewart, and the Yeti in the Underground is it's sort of very close to, especially if you've grown up with Modern Who, it's a very Modern Who kind of story.
Yeah.
Like, here's a day-to-day thing, although in this, like, they come back and London's it's been sort of evacuated, hasn't it? Sort of, like, barren, but it's like, something's happened while they've been away. Sort of like Invasion of the Dinosaurs. I might be getting them confused. But it's sort of like, they get back and it's like, oh shit. And it's something in the underground. So we're going to find out what it is. And it's also a sequel to a story you can't see in its complete form.
Yeah.
So it's the best version of the Yeti you're going to get. And if you're aware of the modern series, hey, you're going to get to see the second and until series 7 in the modern era, the last appearance of the Great Intelligence.
Oh.
So, and you will learn that even though the Snowmen apparently takes place chronologically before the two Yeti stories for the Great Intelligence, you realise that, oh shit, the reason it even does this thing on the Underground is because in the Snowmen, like the whole lunchbox thing in that with the London Underground on it, it's like it's like, oh, that's a neat little bit of thing, neat little bit of setting up in the modern era for like, and that's why it targets the Underground. It's like, oh,
that's quite good.
So I think those 5, was it 5?
Power, Web, Invasion, and War Games. Yeah. I think 2 is all you really need. For the longest time, the only Patrick story I had was Tomb.
And it's a damn good story.
And that was just after it was recovered. Like,
I think those 5 are good because what you're missing for the stories you're not watching is some really good moments, but a lot of dragging, and that's not the stories being bad. That's just pacing and television being different.
There's a lot of 6-part stories in that era.
So if you want a sample of what that's like, watch the War Games, because the first 5 parts are amazing. The next couple parts are great, but it starts to feel a bit saggy. And you get to experience that, oh, for Christ's sake, what's going on? And then all of a sudden 9 and 10 happen and you go, oh.
Yeah.
And it suddenly picks the fuck up with a really kind of like, oh my God, like monumental moment for the show at that point.
The War Game's so long, but I really like it.
It's the third longest? How many's the Chase?
No, Chase is only 6.
Chase is 6. Dalek Master Plan's 12. Plus Mission into the Unknown, but obviously it's not possible to do all of that anyway, unless you do an audio version or whatever.
Yeah. Why would you? Why would you?
I don't know. Why would you watch that Marco Polo reconstruction shot in the modern caravan?
I had to know. All right? I had to know. I won't be doing it again anytime soon.
Oh, God. Sweet Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Young GT, take the wheel. All right, last one comes in from Dan. Dan, the fan theory man, says, hello, large Dan Edcast. Matt! With an exclamation mark and everything. What are your thoughts on the idea that Snowpiercer is a sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Say mother fricking what?
There's a really interesting theory by Rhino Stew on YouTube. I can't remember it all, but some of the ideas are... Willy Wonka specialises in 2 things. State-of-the-art food production and new methods of transportation. He does this in a factory that is completely sealed off from the rest of the world. It's self-sustaining and isolated, much like the trade in Snowpiercer.
Yeah. Yes.
Charlie could have inherited Wonka Industries, perhaps becoming Wilfred Wonka and branding his company with a giant W like his predecessor. That's Wilfred, not Wilfred. So, but I get what you mean. The reason the machinery on board the train is operated by children is because the Oompa Loompas, who would be small enough to operate that stuff, went extinct after the extreme climate change or could not reproduce. Wilfred even mentions that an important part of the train's maintenance went extinct recently. Perhaps he told children as a replacement. This is for the film, which I have not seen. Children don't operate the machinery in the TV show. And also, so Wilfred must be...
Well, obviously the TV show is the sequel to the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory Tim Burton movie, whereas the film is a sequel to the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory classic film.
Because it's not...
Come on, Matt.
It's not Wilfred in the show. It's Wilfred. It's Mr. Wilfred, and you don't see him. At least not so far.
Not yet.
There's some more absolutely bonkers ideas in that video, so I highly recommend it. What do you think of the theory so far if you haven't seen the video yet? I haven't seen the video yet, and since I haven't seen the film, I'm not going to watch the video until I've seen the film. It should be streaming somewhere, right? I'll have to look it up.
Probably. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix got it, just so there's more Snowpiercer-y things to keep you watching, to be fair.
Do both of you have film theories you really like or really don't like the idea of? Goodbye, my dears! Dan.
None that come to mind immediately, but one that I think is, like, fun is the Pixar theory.
Oh yeah,
the idea that they all take place in the same like universe
times,
over a span of centuries, but only because I like the fact that every time a new one comes out, people have to then go, right, how do we adapt the theory now?
Like Legend of Zelda. Where does it go on the timeline?
I don't get it. But like that's kind of part of the fun of it.
Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it just goes anywhere.
Also, the classic one is Willy Wonka is a serial killer.
Yeah.
But it's completely sort of... Like, doesn't make sense, because don't you see the kids after the events? Oh, no, you don't in the original, do you?
No.
You don't see the bratty kids afterwards.
You only see them in the weird fucking... With, like, the weird flat... dejuiced, what's her name? In the Tim Burton one.
Yeah, in that one you see, like, it's like, oh, yeah, they all survive, but, like, in the
They're all horribly disfigured!
Yeah. So I've always thought that's a fun film theory, because it's like, wait, what? What the fuck? Hang on. Hey? What? Huh?
Oh, no. Come back.
No, we are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams. I can't think of any others off the top of my head that I'm like, oh yeah, that's a thing.
There's none that spring to mind. I have a general dislike of like film theories in general because I'm all for speculation, but some of them just go so far off the beat or like are so worried about what they have to bend and twist to make it fit their own personal idea that they just stop enjoying the actual thing.
I think if it's done in fun, if it's done in like a, all right, so I had an idea, what do you think of this? Like, that's fair enough. But like when it, like the Star Wars ring theory is one where I'm like, that's kind of, like, really? I think but halfway through you analysing it is when you should have gone, actually, no, this doesn't really work. The Star Wars ring theory, it was a theory based around the saga as it was when the theory was written, so the original films and the prequel trilogy. And the idea is that it's the films, because George is all about like poetry and like things matching up. But their suggestion is he's using an ancient storytelling technique, which was devised by like the ancient Greeks, which is not your linear, straightforward 3-act structure as it appears to be. Despite the fact that 1977 Star Wars is blatantly like the hero's journey, like 3-act structure, like that is what it is. But they're suggesting that, like, so it's a circle, and you first put, so it's a circle with 6 points around it, like a clock, but it was 6 points. At point like 2, at point 1 or 2, whatever, basically like a third of the way in, is Star Wars.
Yeah.
And the film it actually connects to when you circle it round is Revenge of the Sith. And it's sort of, they are actually a bookend. They're a reflection of each other. And all this sort of stuff. And you're like, okay. But when they have to start... Basically, if you want an explanation of it that sort of examines like how it works, simplified, but also sort of very openly mocks the fact that you really should have stopped when you started creating rings within rings.
Yeah.
Give the Red Letter Media video, Mr. Plinkett's review of The Force Awakens a watch.
I can't watch Mr. Plinkett stuff. I hate it so much.
I quite like the Plinkett Force Awakens one just because like the first 40 minutes of it is him just talking about like what fans projected onto what they wanted the movie to be. Like years before they even knew it was happening, and what George would have wanted, and the fact that one day he was like, "No, there's not going to be an episode 7, not by me, not by anyone, like not fussed about it," and all that. And then the last sort of 40 minutes is, the character of Plinkett, obviously Mike Stolcaster's review of it through the character, is talking about like the stuff he liked, the stuff he didn't really care about, but it's fine, whatever. Like, sure, people enjoy. Like, it's the one Plinkett review that kind of ends with like, well, people enjoyed it, so
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like fine. And there's a running plot throughout it. There's no serial killer plot, but his fan breaks down and his armchair breaks down. So a fan repairman and armchair repairman show up, and they're clearly George Lucas and J.J. Abrams preemptively arriving to murder him.
Okay.
It's fun. I like that one. I do enjoy that one. Even the Last Jedi one, like he really didn't care for the Last Jedi, but he ends it with like, I think this is where I get off. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm not like I'm fine now.
Yeah.
Like it's not for me anymore. And they have said as recently as a few weeks ago on Twitter, I think it was Jay said that they have no plans for a Mr. Plinkett Rise of Skywalker review. So it's like good. Like sure. Like don't do it if you're just gonna hate making it. Like don't bother. But they do a really good, in their Force Awakens Mr. Plinkett video, they do a really good like assessment of the ring theory and what it is. Simplifies it and boils it down. There's one film theory that I did like because it was proven to have weight to it.
Yeah.
Which was, people were speculating that Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight was a military man who was left to die.
Yeah.
And the belief, the reason for that was, so he's mutilated, either self-mutilated or someone else has done it. That's where the scars come from. He has an incredible tactical mind. Like he's not just pulling plans out of his arse. He's spontaneous a couple times, but he sets stuff up, like the hostage situation with the boats. The heist at the beginning is like perfectly planned to within an inch of its life, relying on people making decisions that they clearly are just making reactively in the moment. Yeah. But he's already anticipated that's the decision they're going to make, and all that sort of stuff. And the line of school buses, like it's so precise. His knowledge of tactical military grade hardware. The way the dude can fire off a bazooka like it's no big thing. Just like all these little kind of, he's no fingerprints. Like they have no data on this guy at all. Just all these things. Like he obviously is a competent surgeon because he sews the cell phone bomb into the guy's stomach. Like it's like this guy is very handsy, and then there's lots of references, like the whole a truck full of soldiers blows up, nobody panics.
Yeah.
But you say one, and it's like okay. And there's a few other little things here and there, like these nods to and the whole like, you're crazy. No, I'm not. And you can see he's kind of like, no, shut up. Like it's not it's not somebody with sort of. It's not your typical Batman villain who's just upset that someone's calling them crazy.
Yeah.
It's someone going like, no, seriously, don't mistake what I'm doing for fucking nonsense. And the clown paint is literally it's just mocking people. It's war paint. He's wearing a clown face because he's like, this is fucking hilarious, isn't it? It offsets you. It's all these little things. And you're like, that's kind of cool. And then I've got it in our little coffee table book like shelf in the living room.
Yes.
It's called the Dark Knight trilogy, and it's like a compendium, a guide of behind the scenes stuff, and some stuff that's like in character, documents from the world of the films, like Selena Kyle's rap sheet and things like that. And one of them is a profiling of the Joker, and in that they talk about how military mind, like there are certain Black Ops units that would have to go super deep undercover, like to the point of their life outside of the military being completely erased and covered up, like all these sorts of things. And it's kind of like, so if they went in with that in mind when they were crafting this version of the character, and then people have picked up on these things, I think this theory might be right. I think this theory might be correct. Because he's clearly in his sort of like mid-30s, late 30s at a push. Like he's quite a young take on the character, all things said and done. So he was probably doing, Afghanistan or Iraq, like at the turn of the millennium.
It helps.
You know what I mean? It's like, the timeline lines up.
Definitely one of the things that Christopher Nolan would go for, because it helps root it in reality. Because I'm not making a comic book movie that feels like a comic book. Because I'm a serious filmmaker.
But that's why he still feels like the Joker in a way, because he's so different to the criminal element that has been established in Begins. And he really isn't about the money. Like, he doesn't give a shit about the reward. He's here to just make a point that he feels like needs to be made. And then he'll bugger off. And he's done his work. Like, that's all he wanted. I mean, even at the end of it, he'd probably just hand himself in or whatever. Just like, yeah, sod it, take me in. Like, I've done what I wanted to do. I'm sorted, mate. And that's, that's very Joker. Introduce a little chaos, upset the established order, all that stuff. You're like, yeah, okay, fair enough. That's what the Joker does.
Strong.
That's what the Joker does. He's a creepy clown criminal, and he puts everyone on edge. He's a military dude who sets fire to the money and puts everybody on edge, and he wears clown face. There you go. Boom. Done.
There we go. And there we go for another episode of the Big Damn Cast. The only podcast in the internet where you can get your weekly fix of burps, moaning, and calling some people extremely rude words.
Yeah. I was just going to say, your only podcast on the internet.
Yeah, we're the only one, clearly.
Yeah, we're the only one. There are no others. Don't look that up. There are no others. There are no others.
Chris.
Wait, no shit. Except for Out of the Broom Cupboard. Listen to that as well. Oh, God.
Chris, where can people find us?
They can find us on Twitter at Big Damn Cast. They can find us on Twitch, Big Damn Stream. They can find us on YouTube, The Big Damn Channel. And they can also support the show from as little as $1 per month for access to the Discord server and other perks at patreon.com/BigDamnCast.
Yeah, that's where you can find us. So that's the thing. That's it. That's the show.
Pretty concise.
We're done.
Yeah.
We're done with Big Damn Cast. It's so big.
It's so big.
I think you're lying to us, Ian. I think you're lying to us. But whatever. Bye.
It's so big.